Frankie, a foster kid and a straight-A student from New York, USA, receives good news. She has won a scholarship to Limerick's boarding school in Switzerland. She shares the news with her close friend Trina, and they happily celebrate. Limerick is one of the prestigious schools in all of Europe, where great women are schooled. Frankie feels like she doesn't fit in, being a less privileged girl. Trina reminds her that she is the most intelligent girl she knows and that they are both survivors, capable of handling whatever life throws at them. Frankie is consoled, knowing they have faced hard times before. Before departing, Trina gifts Frankie a piece of jewelry, a memento of their friendship. However, this token carries a shadow from a past incident where they encountered trouble together, resulting in Frankie's criminal record. Upon arriving at Limerick, Frankie finds Miss Ainsworth, the headmistress, waiting for her at the gate. Miss Ainsworth welcomes her to the school and shows her to her room. Shortly after, her next-door neighbor brings her the uniform, claiming it was mistakenly left at her door instead of Frankie's. Jacqueline, her neighbor, reveals that she has been mistreated by the rich girls at the school for the past 2 years, as they often do to girls who aren't considered cool. She asks Frankie if they could be friends and share more about themselves. While having their meal, Jacqueline sees the rich girls who have been treating her poorly and introduces them to Frankie. The girls are Maria, Annabelle, and Tinsley. Tinsley claims to know about Frankie since her parents gave Frankie the scholarship. She tries to humiliate Frankie, saying she doesn't belong in the school. That night, Jacqueline shows Frankie a spot in the school garden where she meditates when feeling low. Tinsley, wearing a ski mask, scares them away from the garden. After an altercation, Tinsley humiliates Frankie in front of the other girls by revealing her criminal record and her incarcerated father. Tinsley believes Frankie doesn't deserve to be at Limerick and demands Frankie to be her pet in exchange for not revealing her secrets to the school. Feeling that her hopes for a fresh start are shattered by her past, Frankie is comforted by Jacqueline. That night, they hear a scream and find out that Tinsley has fallen down the stairs to her death, marking the first murder since the school began. Mr. Limerick, the dean and owner of the school, along with Miss Ainsworth, gathers the students and assures them that the school is safe and that thorough investigations will be conducted to find the killer. Due to her less privileged background and criminal record, Frankie becomes the prime suspect. Maria and Annabelle, two other students, are convinced that Frankie killed Tinsley, especially since the death occurred the same night as Frankie's altercation with Tinsley. Despite facing mounting accusations, Frankie is determined to prove her innocence and starts her own investigation. One evening, while everyone is at dinner, Frankie sneaks into Maria's room hoping to find evidence. She discovers a cutout article about Miss Ainsworth being appointed as the headmistress of Limerick School in 2007 and takes it, along with Maria's tablet. After investigations, the school rules out Tinsley's death as an accident due to extreme intoxication. However, Maria and Annabelle remain unconvinced, and Frankie believes this makes things worse, igniting some sort of vigilante justice. The next morning, Maria and Annabelle spit in Frankie and Jacqueline's food, leading to a fight. Miss Ainsworth punishes them by sending them to help the groundskeeper plant flowers in the garden, where they have to touch fish and feces with their bare hands. After the punishment, Maria and Annabelle apologize to Frankie and Jacqueline and tells Frankie and Jacqueline that they were wrong about Tinsley. However, Jacqueline seems to be not easily swayed by their apology. That night at around 5:30 a.m., Frankie hears disruptive sounds outside and goes to check. She sees someone dragging a body across the garden near the tulip bulbs they planted earlier. She shouts for help and the person runs away through the basement window. Frankie discovers that the unconscious body is Maria's, leading to further suspicion towards her. Frankie becomes a suspect again and undergoes interrogation. Her phone and tablet are confiscated by the detective to investigate her communication record. Despite this setback, Frankie continues her investigation to clear her name. Suspicious of Miss Ainsworth's motives, Frankie investigates further with the help of Annabelle and Jacqueline. They come up with a plan to distract Miss Ainsworth in her office while Frankie searches her room. Miss Ainsworth almost catches Frankie, but Frankie hides under her bed. Frankie notices Miss Ainsworth's restlessness and panic, observing her taking pills before leaving the room hastily. Moments later, all the students are ordered to return to their rooms for investigations. Hiking shoes are found under Frankie's bed, matching the pattern worn by the culprit at the barn. Despite Frankie's protests, she is put in detention. However, she is later exonerated after the detective finds evidence from surveillance cameras installed by Miss Ainsworth outside her room. Fed up with the ongoing drama, Frankie dedicates herself to putting an end to it. She continues her investigation and discovers what Tinsley and Maria had found. With Trina's help, she hacks Maria's tablet and finds out that Tinsley had tried to blackmail Mr. Limix over his extramarital relationship in exchange for better grades. Mr. Limix had an affair with Miss Ainsworth and paid her €3,000 monthly since 2007 to keep quiet about their relationship and abandon their child. Realizing they could be the next victims, Frankie and Annabelle decide to give Maria's tablet to the detective. However, on their way, they hear Mr. Limix shouting at Jacqueline. They find Jacqueline holding a knife to Miss Ainsworth's throat. Frankie persuades Jacqueline to put down the knife, but Jacqueline refuses to, revealing that Mr. Limix and Miss Ainsworth are her birth parents who abandoned her. When Miss Ainsworth discovered Jacqueline's success, she arranged for her to attend the Swiss school from London. This news shocks Mr. Limix, as Miss Ainsworth had deceived him into thinking Jacqueline found out about them on her own. Jacqueline further reveals that they gave her a new identity and backstory under the condition that she keep their secret. She further reveals that she manipulated the school into selecting Frankie for the scholarship because she needed a scapegoat for a murder after her father, Mr. Limix, requested her to resolve his Tinsley dilemma, promising to treat her as his own daughter. Desiring reunion with him, Frankie became the ideal candidate due to her academic excellence and her criminal history. She confesses how she injected a lethal cocktail of meds and vodka to Tinsley, and upon learning that Tinsley had shared the secrets with Maria, she targeted Maria as well. She injects her too and strikes her with a shovel. It's then that Frankie uncovers Jacqueline's plot to frame her by planting hiking shoes under her bed, leading to her incarceration. Despite Jacqueline's aggression, Frankie tries to calm her, offering a bracelet as a gesture of goodwill. When Jacqueline discovers Annabelle's recording, she lashes out at Frankie, accusing her of framing her. With Frankie's intervention, Mr. Limix disarms Jacqueline, and Miss Ainsworth condemns her husband's manipulative behavior, vowing to testify against him in court. 8 months later, Maria emerges from a coma as the school year draws to a close. Expressing contentment with Frankie, she inquires about her plans for the summer. Frankie discloses her intention to work at a foster home, while Maria, inspired by their punishment, will assist in the garden under the new dean's employment. They vow to stay in touch as they part ways.